I'm so glad my Lord and Savior Donald Trump is finally in office. Because of that, I can now buy that $1 million mansion and car with a $20 down payment. And he said he was going to make everything really cheap, which means we'll be able to afford everything. Like, I'm just so happy, and these liberal tears are hydrating me. Get a load of this fucking bitch. You're dumbass.
Shirt mean?
It means that the Democrats are stupid and that Trump should be president.
What are the three branches of government?
The three branches of government: legislative. Oh, fuck me. Oh, fuck me.
He's drunk, probably.
Legislative. Oh.
Judicial.
You don't help me. You don't help me. Judicial.
She just said it, though. She said that.
Yeah. Judicial. I don't know
What
the
does
other
this
one.
have to do with politics, though?
Well, I mean, this does have to do with politics. I'm not well informed, but I am informed a little bit. I'm not well informed, but I am informed a little bit.
But you're tired of stupid Democrats.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like November's shaping up to be another rough month in MAGA land. I'm not sure if you've been paying attention, but the Texas State Fair was a straight-up flop. And honestly, who can blame folks? Nobody in their right mind is lining up to pay $25 for a turkey leg that tastes like regret and inflation. Not in this economy. Not when rent, gas, and eggs are all auditioning to be luxury items. And just when you think things can't get any worse, reports are now saying millions of American families might go without food this November. It's wild out here. The signs couldn't be any clearer. FAFO season is in full swing, and MAGA keeps acting surprised like it wasn't them who sent the invitations. The man we just watched struggling to name the three branches of government and insisting he doesn't need help, that, my friends, is MAGA personified. That's the pull yourself up by your bootstraps philosophy in 4K resolution. Only problem is, you can't pull yourself up when your boots are sinking in economic quicksand. See, the truth is, the U.S. is absolutely in a recession. You don't need the Fed or Wall Street to tell you that. Just walk outside. People are cutting corners, skipping meals, canceling trips, and pretending buy now, pay later is a financial plan. And the wild part? This didn't have to happen. Donald Trump and his billionaire buddies built this mess brick by brick. The tariffs, the tax cuts for the rich, the deregulation. And now the people who cheered the loudest are getting hit the hardest. MAGA is experiencing what I like to call a national brain freeze. That moment when the reality of your vote sets in, and suddenly it's not so funny anymore. But don't worry, we're going to unpack all of it. From the empty fairs to the empty wallets, from the bad economics to the billionaire bailout buddies. Because at this point, it's not America first, it's MAGA you first. So grab your overpriced fair lemonade and settle in, because we've got a lot to cover in today's episode. And before we dive in, big shout out to everyone who takes the time to watch, comment, and engage. You're the real MVPs. And if you're new here, welcome to the family, where we try to understand the MAGA mind without losing our own. All right, let's roll those clips.
No food for you. No food for you. That's right. President Trump has announced that come November 1st, which is only 2 weeks away, that there will be no SNAP benefits available to anybody that is on the SNAP program. Most of the people on SNAP are from red states. This is what you voted for. Remember that. He doesn't care that you have no food. There's no money for SNAP, and he doesn't care. But he just gave Argentina $40 billion in a bailout, but no food for you. That'll be no food for you. And as we progress into the holiday season, no food for you. That's what you voted for, and that's what you're going to get. No food for you.
Honestly, I'm very happy they're taking away the food stamps. That's great because y'all swear at the poll you were doing something to hurt immigrants and people who look like me. But now, all the rednecks and Mima and Papa and Junebug and Slaughterbug and all y'all gonna be hungry this fucking Thanksgiving. Thank God. You thought you were shooting other people, you end up shooting yourself in the foot. Good. Like, great. I'm happy. Thank you. Majority of the immigrants who you claim are stealing your stuff, we don't even qualify for food stamps. Maybe y'all can use this hungry time to think about what y'all did at the poll last November. This Thanksgiving, maybe y'all can fast and repent.
Have y'all heard that they're going to run out of SNAP benefits by November? Have you heard this? Well, if not, strap in, buckle up, let's go. Listen, I want to understand, MAGA, are y'all winning yet? Are y'all winning? Because the majority of you that voted for syphilitic Sid are the people that received most of these benefits. Now, this man done lied to y'all and told y'all that it was undocumented and illegals that were getting these benefits. But we about to find out who really getting these benefits, because y'all ain't getting no turkey. Y'all ain't getting no ham. Y'all, Meemaw ain't gonna have no butter rolls, nothing, because y'all ain't gonna have nothing. The USDA has said that if the government does not open up because of this shutdown, there will be no more funds. No more federal funds for any of these benefits. So I just want to understand. I want to run it back. Just bear with me for a moment. I want to run it back. So let me get this straight. Y'all voted for this fool. And now your SNAP benefits ain't benefiting. Your Medicaid ain't Medicading. Right? These tariffs ain't tariffing the way he said they was going to tariff. But y'all still over here. The only thing that y'all can point to is the deportations. So while you over here giddy about a 13-year-old being deported to some unknown country, y'all about to not have no Thanksgiving. You might not have anything for Christmas either. I just want one of y'all to step to the front and make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because, again, y'all ain't about to have no holidays. But y'all worried because he done convinced y'all that an undocumented person gets $1 more than you do. I have no words for y'all. Good luck. Because, again, the farmers ain't farming. The tariffs ain't tariffing. The SNAP benefits ain't benefiting. And the Medicaid ain't Medicading. Okay. Good luck. Good luck.
I work in the social service field, and if you receive SNAP, you should be aware of this. Unfortunately, the rumors about SNAP possibly being affected or even stopped in November are true. SNAP is federally funded through the USDA, and they've already put out an announcement that they have only had the funding for October, but because of the government shutdown, they don't have the funds for November. And if Congress doesn't pass a budget bill or a temporary funding bill, then states can't load funds onto people's EBT cards. So if the government shutdown continues for much longer, you can expect a delay or even a stop in your SNAP benefits for the month of November at least.
Now, a lot of Republicans are walking around convinced it's the Democrats' fault that the government is shut down. But that's a little too convenient to say when you're part of the crowd Trump affectionately called the poorly educated. Because here's the thing, the math doesn't lie, and neither do the voting records. The government didn't shut down because Democrats refused to compromise. It shut down because House Republicans couldn't even agree among themselves. Let's get the receipts straight. The shutdown came after far-right members of the GOP, the same ones obsessed with Project 2025, refused to pass a clean funding bill unless it included massive cuts to social programs like SNAP benefits, Medicaid, and housing assistance. Democrats were willing to fund the government and keep services running. Republicans wanted to hold the economy hostage to force through an agenda that even their own voters don't fully understand. That's not fiscal responsibility, that's political arson with a red hat. And here's where it gets extra ironic. The very people cheering those cuts are about to be hit the hardest, because once again, FAFO season is undefeated. Those SNAP benefits that millions of low-income families, including plenty of MAGA households, rely on are now at risk. And come November, when those benefits get delayed or reduced, it's going to be chaos in grocery aisles across America. What makes this all the more tragic is that people were warned. Economists warned. Journalists warned. Even moderate Republicans tried to warn their own party that Project 2025 was political suicide disguised as patriotism. But the MAGA base didn't want to hear it. They thought starving the government would somehow feed the people. Now, the repercussions are here in full swing. Empty shelves, frozen benefits, unpaid workers. And the loudest voices blaming the left are the same ones who voted for the shutdown blueprint. So before we roll the next clips, just remember, this isn't a Democrat shutdown. It's a MAGA self-destruct. And the worst part? The people suffering the most are the ones who believed the lies the longest. All right, take a listen.
I'd just like to remind you, the government shutdown is all in Project 2025. Don't believe me? Google Project 2025 government shutdown. Trump and the Heritage Foundation thinks they can wipe out TSA, FAA, the Veterans Affairs. They think they can wipe everything out and then start all over. So TSA workers, show them what you can do. After you Google that, come back here and tell me something else that you learned about Project 2025, the one that Trump denied and then admitted to about a month ago, and that all his people are in the government from Project 2025. I should say he thinks, but Donald Trump doesn't really think. So that's what they have planned. They think they're going to get rid of everybody and then just start all over again. So this has all been part of the plan. The government shutdown is part of the plan. The icing on the cake is not releasing the Epstein files.
The U.S. may be headed for another 2008-level financial crisis. And you know who's responsible? Donald Trump and BlackRock. Back in 2008, millions of Americans lost their homes, their jobs, and their entire life savings because of toxic investments, massive hidden risks, and reckless financial engineering that just collapsed under its own weight. Fast forward to today, and those exact same risks are being capitalized on. Donald Trump has just signed an executive order allowing your 401k, your retirement money, to be poured into crypto and private equity. These assets are volatile, hard to value, and in some cases, impossible to sell in the case of a crisis. Meaning if they tank, your retirement fund could be wiped out. And at the center of this, the engineer of this, is BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager. Did you know BlackRock managed Fannie Mae's mortgage debt before the crash and then was hired to clean up the mortgage debt mess after the crash? They had massive financial incentive from managing that crisis, and today they manage $9 trillion of your pension and retirement funds. And their CEO, Larry Fink, has been pushing hard for private market access and digital cryptocurrency for everyone, and he just got the green light from the Oval Office. I wonder what financial incentive Larry Fink could have from increasing the risk profile of your investments. And what makes this even worse is the compounded pressure of our $1.7 trillion student loan crisis. Remember the Trump administration's announcement that they'll garnish the wages of those who default? That's less money out of your paycheck for food, rent, utilities, and now on top of it, your retirement fund could be wiped out from high-risk bets. In 2008, the danger was risky subprime mortgages packaged into complex securities. Today, it's risky, illiquid private equity deals and speculative crypto stuffed inside your retirement account. On top of historic high student loan debts and wage garnishment, both of these crises share the same dangerous traits: opaque pricing, concentration of risk, and the potential for a very sudden and brutal collapse. Except it's not going to be BlackRock or Donald Trump feeling the weight of that collapse. It's going to be me and you. And this isn't fear-mongering, unless regulators put very, very strict guardrails into place, history isn't just going to rhyme, it's going to repeat itself.
America's economy is losing over and over because of Trump's shambolic trade war. I mean, it was really stupid to say to the #1 country that buys the very few things that we make, fuck you. Well, now they're saying no, fuck you. We used to sell $13 billion in soybeans to China. They said, you know what? Fuck that. We'll get them from Brazil. We don't sell that many things to other countries. We can't have a $13 billion sale just canceled. We also make beef and poultry. We used to sell tons of that to China. Now they're getting it from Australia. That's another one of the very few products we make and sell overseas gone. That's billions of dollars out of the American economy. We used to sell liquefied petroleum gas to China. Now they're going to get that from the Middle East instead of us. I'm not saying this is going to happen. They've already canceled their orders and started getting their things from these other places. So American producers had consumers in China, and those were lost because of Trump. This is billions of dollars that is lost to thousands of American producers. And these contracts are not just magically going to come back after this trade war ends. You have damaged the American economy for the long term.
Hey guys, we got another major story developing. November 1st, they're going to cut off SNAP benefits. This is going to have major effect on all of us, guys, not just the people who are losing their benefits. Because you need to think, all these people who are losing the ability to buy food when the economy is already in the gutter and things are already at just ridiculous pricing. How do you think that they're going to survive? What's next? Theft? You're going to have to start stealing food, which means prices are going to raise, which means they will lock things up, which means we might be in martial law a lot sooner than we thought. Because when they have to start controlling the food centers, the Walmarts, martial law, that's when bread lines and everything will start. Okay? When the food centers are no longer secure, that's when your lockdowns will really begin. And when you take the SNAP benefits away from all these people who already have nowhere else to turn, what do you think is going to be the result of this? These people are going to get into survival mode here soon. Whether they come to the stores and start rioting and ransacking the shelves in the stores, or they start coming to your cupboards, they're going to come looking for food here soon, because that's survival. Guys, this isn't good. This isn't good. And I hope that you guys are having discussions within your community about how to take care of one another. Because that's what we need to do. This No Kings protest that's going off tomorrow, if you go to any gathering, go prepared to find a community, build a community. Go with your business card in hand, and I mean this literally. What are your skill sets? What are you good at? What can you offer? Where are you located? Find people in your area. Maybe you might have to relocate if you're able to join up with a tribe or a community, but you are going to need community because this economy is in the gutter. It's done, and they're going to flip the switch here soon, all right? They're lining up all the dominoes, and they're knocking them down. And unless you are a billionaire, you are going to be affected by this. You are going to have a lifestyle change. We're talking about a financial reset, a world currency reset. This isn't done every couple years. This is very monumental, guys. So please take this very serious. This isn't conspiracy. This isn't, we've been hearing this forever. No, you're watching it in real time now, guys. And things don't happen overnight. Rome was not built in a day, and it's not reset and destroyed in a day. It takes some time, but that time is running out. Your days are getting shorter. You can all feel it. You just admit it. Be honest. The literal days do not last as long as they used to because we are on a countdown. Tick tock.
If you don't get your SNAP benefits in November and you voted for Trump, please make the video when you realize you're not going to be able to eat for the month of November. If you don't get your SNAP benefits and you voted for Kamala, please let us know and we will make sure that your month of November and Thanksgiving are as equally good as if you got your benefits. We'll get GoFundMes going, things like that. but only for the people that voted for Kamala.
Wow. Those two clips we just watched, absolutely insane and strangely refreshing. Both were calling for community and togetherness, which is ironic because, let's be honest, that's something MAGA absolutely despises. To them, anything that even sounds like unity, compassion, or collective effort is instantly labeled socialism, woke, or demonic. But it's funny, isn't it? Socialism is evil until it's time for farmers to get bailed out after voting for Trump for the third time in a row. Suddenly, when the bank account's crying louder than the rhetoric, government handouts become patriotic assistance. Anyway, buckle up, because things are about to get wild. Actually, scratch that. They already are. Like I promised, the average American is feeling the economic heat on the ground. And this isn't about charts or political spin. It's about the reality you can't ignore anymore. People are not fine. We're seeing it everywhere. The anxiety, the skipped meals, the impossible bills. Inflation is still doing the cha-cha with people's wallets. Wages haven't caught up. And the booming economy politicians keep bragging about? It's a boom that most people can't even hear. Just take a look at the next few clips, starting with this mom in Texas who said, "You know what? I'm not going to the fair." And honestly, she's not alone. Thousands of families said the same thing this year. They looked at those $25 turkey legs, those overpriced rides, and said, "Nah, not this time." It's a small decision that tells a much bigger story. People are pulling back because they have to. And when everyday folks start opting out of joy, of simple things like fares and family outings, that's when you know the economy is truly broken. As those earlier clips reminded us, this is the time to build community, to link up with people who see the world clearly, who aren't buying the MAGA delusion, and who understand that surviving this recession, or depression, as some economists are starting to whisper, won't happen alone. Because no man is an island. And if we're going to get through the storm MAGA helped create, we're going to need each other more than ever. All right, let's roll the next clips.
Today I'm a bad mom because I won't take my kids to the state fair. We're a family of 5. Each ticket's $20 and parking's $20. That's $120 even before we get our toe in the door. We're paying $120 just to see chickens and piggies that I can see down the road at the farm. Now, if they want to play some games, it's $1 per ticket. So if they get 60 tickets, right? $60. To throw 5 darts, it's $1 a dart. But you need to throw 15 darts to get a prize, okay? Each ride is 8 tickets, but you need a parent to go on, so that's 16 tickets. Which again, it's $1 per ticket. So say if my kids wanted to go on 5 rides apiece at $8 a ticket, that's $80 per kid because an adult needs to go with them, so that's $160 right there, just for 5 rides. And we're not even getting into the food. A turkey leg, $25 for a turkey leg, $8 for a cup of soda. I told the kids that I would rather take them to Disneyland than the state fair because of how expensive it is. I asked one of my mother friends how much it cost her for her family of 4. She said she left paying $500, and that was just for dinner, the tickets to get in, the parking, and a few rides. $500 for a state fair? I said, "What did you get?" I was like, "Did you even win any prizes?" She goes, "No, we didn't even get to win any prizes." Like, don't they have the little magnet fish that everybody wins? So yeah, I'm gonna be a bad mom because I'm not gonna take my kids to the state fair because I'm not gonna throw $400, $500, $600 at some carny ride.
Trump supporters, federal workers laid off.
As this government shutdown drags on, there are a lot of federal workers who are having trouble paying the bills and having trouble putting food on the table for their families because paychecks are starting to run out. Some are seeing partial paychecks. Soon people are going to see no paycheck at all. Now, the Capital Area Food Bank, they are trying to help with that. I'm here at their warehouse this morning, filled with food. They're going to be doing some special distribution.
And we gave $40 billion to Argentina. Trump supporters, you still don't get it? Not yet? I'll check back in with you.
I got a letter recently that my property taxes are going to go up $600 a year from now on. I got a letter that my homeowner's insurance is going up $60 a month. My propane company sent me a letter that my propane is going to double this year. They just came and filled up my tank. It was $1,000. That's crazy. Also, as a entrepreneur and business owner, I get my health insurance through the marketplace. So you have the Affordable Care Act. I pay $45 a month. They just informed me that if this bill passes and I lose my tax credit, I'm going to go from $45 a month to $660 a month for health insurance. I need to buy a new car and I can't because the cars have gotten more expensive and the interest rates have gotten so much more expensive. I can't find a reliable car that has the same monthly payment of $450 a month that I've been paying now for a new car. Not necessarily new, but new to me. Groceries are insane, and it feels like every day I get a new email from another subscription that I have, whether it's Netflix, my website subscription, everything's increasing in price. And I sit pretty much every day stressed about money, and yet I know that there are so many people in this country that are way worse off than me.
Here's the real question. If millions of families are going into debt just to eat, what does that say about the true health of the U.S. economy? A new survey shows that about a quarter of Americans are using buy now, pay later apps like Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay just to buy groceries. We are not talking about sneakers and vacations. We're talking about milk, eggs, and pasta on a payment plan. And that number is climbing fast, which means more and more people literally can't afford food up front anymore. Let's be honest, Wall Street might look fine, but Main Street is starving. Call me crazy, but I would love to live in a society where moms don't have to worry about feeding their children, where dads don't have to work 10 jobs to make sure that Eggos can go in the toaster in the morning. That would be my ideal society, but I know I'm a little crazy.
Grocery prices in the States have reached the point of insanity. I just went and bought 3 items, and I want you to guess how much it cost me, okay? I bought a salad kit, and then I bought Beyond Meat, which arguably should be cheaper than real meat. I mean, it's made from plants, right? I bought a tub of cashews. The cashews alone cost me $12. $12. That's nuts. For 3 items, it cost me $24 and change. A quarter way to $100. Now, at what point is this just not tenable anymore? No one can afford this. This is becoming absolutely bonkers. I thought it was bad 4 years ago, and I thought it was bad last year. No, we've gotten to the point where I don't even know what next year is gonna look like. Okay, if a loaf of bread is $6 and a tub of nuts is $12, I don't even know where we go from here. No one can afford this. I know grocery prices have gone up all over the world. I feel like in the States, we are really feeling it right now. Am I crazy for thinking this? I mean, what do you think? What does your grocery bill look like lately? Because mine is insane.
That, my friends, is absolute insanity. Things will never be the same in America again. Not when people are buying groceries on credit cards and using buy now, pay later for milk and bread. That's not freedom. That's a nation in survival mode, pretending everything's fine because no one wants to admit the dream is collapsing. You can't call it the land of opportunity when folks are financing basic needs. And yet, MAGA still insists none of this is real. They'll swear up and down that it's not Republicans shutting down the government, or it's not the GOP trying to hurt their own citizens. But come on, how many times can we play this game? The facts are right there. Republicans are deliberately tanking the system by holding government funding hostage, threatening programs like SNAP, and turning ordinary Americans into collateral damage for their political theater. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but for anyone still wondering whether this chaos is intentional, here's a word from someone who knows exactly what's going on. An insider who's seen how deep the plan runs, and how the suffering we're witnessing isn't accidental. It's strategic. Take a listen.
Do you want to know the real reason that the Republicans have shut down, government from an insider. So I grew up as a Christian homeschool conservative. I was around people who were into Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation. And so I know their playbook. They've been planning this forever, and they are getting to their goal very, very fast. So Republicans have shut down the government, and this has been a plan all along because they want to reduce the force of the government. They want to kind of slash it, fire everybody, and start from scratch. So what they've been doing is they've been the past decades, I think probably at least 2 decades, they have been scoping out Christian homeschool talent. For example, people in government organizations from DC would come to my college to scope out the talent, and homeschoolers were very big into learning debate and political science, and then they started their colleges like Patrick Henry College, my college, Liberty, all of these to kind of create government workers and brainwashed Christian conservative, smart talent that could go into Washington, D.C. So they have been scoping and recruiting people for 2 decades. And so now that they have Trump in office and they have all of the power, they want to shut everything down, reduce the force, and then in doing so, they are going to replace all of those fired employees with Christian loyalists, Trump loyalists, and they've been actually teaching them and hiring them and interviewing them for this job. When you read Project 2025, that is their plan. That is what they're going to do. And you can say like, oh, that's discriminatory because they can't hire people just based on their politics. Trump literally had every single government employee sign something that's saying like, what do you like the most about Trump's presidency? So they don't give a fuck about the law. They don't give a fuck about discriminating. This is the new America.
You know, when you look at everything going on right now, the food shortages, the debt, the chaos in DC, it doesn't feel random anymore. It feels like someone planned the collapse and handed out MAGA hats as participation trophies. And maybe that's because they did. See, Trump's been running what looks less like an economic plan and more like an economic demolition blueprint, a 5-step slow-motion car crash disguised as patriotism. The first step was shrinking the labor force, and he did that masterfully. By kicking out millions of undocumented workers, the very people who keep America running, he created a shortage that sent shockwaves through every essential industry. Farmers are watching food rot in their fields. Construction projects have stalled. Restaurants can't find staff. And who's paying for it? You are. Groceries cost more, housing costs more, and the booming economy everyone bragged about is running on fumes. And that's not an accident. When people can't afford to eat or live, they stop questioning. They start surviving. Then came step 2, cutting off international trade. Trump threw tantrums over trade deals like a toddler flipping monopoly boards. He slapped tariffs on imports, pulled out of global agreements, and told allies to fend for themselves. The result? America's been isolated, while the rest of the world moved on without us. Japan, South Korea, Australia, they all trade more with China now than with the US. And MAGA still thinks this is what winning looks like. But it gets darker. Step 3 was destabilizing the financial system. Trump's been attacking the Federal Reserve, threatening to replace officials who don't bend to his will, and even floating the idea of defaulting on US debt. Do you realize how insane that is? The US dollar isn't just America's currency. It's the world's foundation. Undermine that, and the whole planet shakes. Inflation soars, retirement accounts evaporate, and panic becomes policy. Then came step 4, weakening the core institutions. Because a strong democracy has rules, checks, and experts, and Trump hates all 3. He's hollowed out departments, turned courts into partisan weapons, and scared off the kind of people who actually know how to run a country. Agencies that used to negotiate trade and regulate industries now run on chaos and loyalty tests. It's no wonder America feels leaderless. The adults left the room, and the toddlers are playing with nuclear codes. And finally, step 5, the grand finale, consolidating wealth and power. Because once the system's broken, it's open season for billionaires. Farms fail, factories close, families go bankrupt, and the same ultra-rich insiders who helped create the disaster swoop in to buy everything for pennies. They deregulate, exploit, and privatize what's left, until America looks less like a democracy and more like a yard sale for oligarchs. And at the center of it all, Trump, the self-proclaimed savior turned auctioneer. Individually, all of this might look like incompetence, a few bad calls, some sloppy politics, a bit of ego. But when you connect the dots, it's not chaos, it's choreography. Shrink the workforce so industries collapse. Cut off trade so the nation isolates. Undermine the dollar to trigger panic. Weaken institutions so no one can resist. Then scoop up what's left. That's not leadership. That's looting with a flag wrapped around it. And the wild part? It's working. America is more divided, more broke, and more desperate than it's been in decades. The middle class is hanging by a thread while billionaires multiply like mushrooms after rain. The poor are told to work harder even as jobs disappear. And MAGA still believes this man is their hero, because when you control the chaos, you control the story. So here we are, standing in the rubble of an empire built on slogans, watching freedom shrink under the weight of greed. And what are Americans doing about it? Tweeting, arguing, scrolling, waiting for someone else to fix it. But that's the final trick, isn't it? Keep the people distracted, divided, and disillusioned long enough, and they'll never realize the heist is already over. This isn't just a recession, it's a reset, and not the good kind. The system's being stripped for parts, and unless people wake up, democracy won't die with a bang. It'll fade out with a discount sign that says, "Everything must go." And that, my friends, is how MAGA's dream of taking America back became the nightmare of watching it fall apart.